I'm sure they were there, no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah. And also I had this situation with the energy in my head. And when Brian touched me, I could feel that energy. Boom.
Right.
I was so happy. I was so happy.
Yeah, me too. I'm so happy for you guys.
It went well. It went well. Everybody was, I was just happy everybody came.
Very nice.
All right, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Bethlehem Spiritual Healing Center, to this beautiful Sunday morning. I hope it is, there is a beautiful sun shining bright on you inside of your heart and outside of your houses, as we are here gathered in this beautiful moment for us to come down, to receive and to give and to learn all together. Can I ask our sister Tanya to do our opening prayer?
So, beloved brothers and sisters, may the peace of Jesus, may his love, may his kindness, and his divine window of wisdom bless us in this morning, in this beautiful Sunday, as we start our week. We invite our Lord Jesus to bless not just our home, our family, our neighborhood, our city, our state, this beautiful nation, but to extend his love, his harmony, to embrace together in this beautiful current of love all our beloved brothers and sisters all over this beautiful planet Earth that is in need. So may they feel they are loved. So may they feel strength, and they feel the intelligence of divine blessing their minds, so we can together as one nation, as a fraternal nation in this beautiful universe, gathering together with all the workers of the light, embrace each other in the great willingness to manifest God's will here and now. May his divine guidance and divine love be with us, and we are open with divine permissions, with divine guidance, with divine protection. This beautiful service today, here and there, as a spiritual and reincarnate beings. I invite all of you, my beloved brothers and sisters, to open your heart and your mind for these blessing teachings that we start now. And so be it.
And so it is. Thank you, sister. All right, everyone. So welcome to Bethlehem Spiritual Healing Center. For those who are coming here for the very first time.
My beloved brothers and sisters,
just one second.
open your heart and your mind.
Oops. Done. I'm sorry. So for those who are coming here for the very first time, we are part of the United States Spiritist Federation. So our beliefs are around scientific, philosophical, and religious principles of the Spiritism. But we welcome everyone with any questions, any doubts. So if you want to discuss your ideas, this is a safe place for you to do. We are happy to welcome you. Emmanuel, the spirit mentor of Chico Xavier, a great medium, taught us that knowledge, he reinforced it to us actually, that knowledge and love are the two wings for our spiritual evolution. So you will see that the services split into two parts. So the first part, we will have someone speaking to us, and I will introduce her in a minute. But during this speech, your participation is really important because your mentor is already supporting you with the insights from the speaker. So we kindly suggest you have a piece of paper and you take notes, because your reflection along the week will be very important for you to sustain the energy that you are receiving while you are in the center. And then in the second part, we will have a hands-on healing, which we will all vibrate together. And let me take you through our agenda. So here, I hope you can all see my screen with our agenda from Monday to Sunday. This you can also find on our website, bshcenter.org. So everybody is welcome to go there and check it in more details. And for the sake of time, I'll just highlight the new things and a couple of services. So one service that I want to highlight is every Monday, we have an internal meeting where the mediums are going to get together and vibrate for all of those who are in need. So this is a healing service that we do. So if you or a beloved one is in need for prayers and for physical or emotional, mental, spiritual healing, do let us know. We'll be happy to add this person to our book and to this vibration. One thing that we always recommend is that you let this person know, so then he or she can be open to receive the service. So although the meeting is closed, Monday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, we invite the person that is in treatment to be in tune with his or her mentor, so then he or she can be open to the treatment. We also have daily prayers from Monday to Saturday, every day happening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then on Sunday, we are here. We know that it is in giving that we receive, so you are invited to join us for a 15-20 minutes prayer where we all vibrate to our brothers and sisters who are in need and to planet Earth. And we also have on Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. A meeting that you can talk to any of the mediums. We'll be happy to hear you. If you need to vent, if you need to pray with someone, if you need to exchange any ideas, we are here for you. So we know that life is not easy. Sometimes we have many challenges. So know that you're not alone and we are here for you. And then I wanted to highlight two studies. One, it just started. It's the book study, Forgiveness as the Way and the Way to Forgiveness. It just started beginning of November. So you can still catch up. For this one, we use the link at Divine Light. And then on Thursday, so we changed. We used to have Inner Transformation on Wednesday, so we moved that to Thursday. So on Wednesday, you see Psychology of Gratitude. And then on Thursday, we just started the book study of the book Living Spring. Beautiful book. So again, you can also catch up. One Thursday of the month, we will be meeting in person in Sacramento. So if you are interested, if you can join us, it will be amazing to have you. And we'll be happy to welcome back as we go slowly into this journey of coming back to have our physical meetings. But at least once a month, we are able to meet in person during this Thursday. As I mentioned to you, this is all on our website, bshcenter.org. Everybody's welcome to check it out if you need any link or any assistance. And today we'll be talking, let me just remember the topic that we'll be talking today. Wait, I'm sorry. Today we will have our dear sister Adriana talking to us about do not hide your lamp under a bushel. This is chapter 24 of the Gospel. And for those who still don't know Adriana, or again are seeing this for the very first time, Adriana has been an active member of Brazil Spiritual Healing since 2013. She has been studying spirituality since 2003, with courses in Spiritism and Spiritualism and the teachings of Oram Mikhail Ayavanov, and the Universal Brotherhood. Adriana is an active member of the Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center, and in her free time, she volunteers as a mentor for international students and young professionals. She's also mother of my godson, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I love them so much, because she brings her light wherever she is. So I hope you all enjoy, and please help me to welcome our dear sister, Adriana.
Yay, thank you so very much. It's needless to say how wonderful it is to be here together, connected in this beautiful sunny day. It's cool here in Sacramento, but there's beautiful sunshine, as you can see, coming through the window. Before I start, let me share my screen. Okay, you guys can see well, can hear me well? Beautiful. All right. Okay, my friends. So for those who are new, join us today. I just wanted to show you that I will be using here the doctrine of Allan Kardec, the Gospel According to Spiritism. And as I say to friends, that this is a book kind of like our Bible to be consulted, you know, and it's so magical because every time you open a chapter to read, either by yourself or during our sessions here, there is something new, something that you are not able to grasp or understand, maybe didn't click at first when you first read the chapter. But as we evolve, as we mature, we start gathering more information, more downloads come to us. So I really enjoy participating, reading the gospel. We also have this available actually on PDF online. If you Google, you'll see that on the internet, you can find it. So you don't have to buy it if you don't need to or can't at this moment, but it is available to all. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about chapter 24, do not hide your lamp under a bushel. Again, the Gospel According to Spiritism, chapter 24. So this is a very short chapter, short and sweet. There are only 9 pages. But again, don't take me wrong, because there is so much in there. So many principles, so many teachings, so many pieces for reflection throughout our day, our time here together. And I'm going to invite you to really open, your heart to receive the message and to help each other to reflect and think about what can we put into practice in our day-to-day lives. So when I first opened the chapter, just to understand, to reread the chapter, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the topic, which says, do not hide your light under a bushel. Do not hide your lamp, your light. So what does that mean? And my first interpretation was very simple. It's like, if you have your light, if you have been given a talent, a gift, an attribute, please use it, share, right? Do not hide it. Do not keep it to yourself. Because again, we are, responsible for our actions, and being able to share your talents with others, especially those talents that are can make good things, can be charitable, fraternal, can help and unite our community. So why not? What is stopping us from letting our light shine? Are we doing this unconsciously? So, and if so, what can we do to let it shine? What is stopping us from performing what we agreed upon to be here for, And that's a good, beautiful reflection. And in that, this beautiful principle, this beautiful teaching from Jesus, our master, the picture that's showing here is Jesus with his disciples, on the Mount Sinai, teaching the disciples and also talking to the crowd. Back in time, there were no WhatsApp or Zoom. So Jesus Christ was out there in the open, talking to people. And you see that he will give us food for action, food for thought, and food for action here in this passage. Do not hide your lamp, do not hide your light under a bushel. So the chapter starts saying, a lamp under a bushel. It says, no one lights a lamp to put it under a bushel. Better, he puts it on a lampstand, so that it can illuminate all who are in the house. So that's the first idea from Matthew here. But let's move forward, and I'll come back to this principle. Why Jesus speaks in parables? Because to you it has been given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. I speak to them, to the crowd, in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they neither hear nor understand. So let's pause here for a moment. At first, the message is, do not hide your talent, do not hide your light. And then on the other moment, the question is, why does Jesus speak in parables? Isn't it supposed to be clear? Aren't we supposed to share the message, to share the talents with others? So why is the need to speak in parables? That's something that caught my attention, because it sounded to me like a contradiction, right? So I will come back to this, but listen to what Kardec has to say about this. One may be surprised to hear. Jesus says that a lamp should not be put under a bushel, when he himself continually hides the meaning of his words. But Jesus explains himself to his disciples. I speak to them, to the crowd, to the people there, okay, in parables, because they are not in condition to understand certain things. They see, they hear, but they do not understand. Thus, it would be pointless to tell them everything for now. Jesus acted towards the people as one does toward children, whose ideas are not yet developed. So in this first instance, my understanding here is that Jesus' teachings with the disciples, because the disciples were close to him, they're following him, they were in his energy. So Jesus says to disciples, because to you, disciples, it has been given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. It's their presence, it's their commitment with Jesus and his teachings. And on the other hand, to the crowd, he says, I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they neither hear nor understand. In other words, were they ready? Are we ready? It is a point of being maturity. Because how many times have we heard lessons, or somebody has given us some advices and we didn't follow, we didn't completely understand? It's all about timing. There is a time to be mature, and I say this, spiritually mature, to be able to hear and see with the Spirit's eyes, the Spirit's ears, and fully understand and incorporate the teachings. So there is something to think about when we are also talking about this, the spread of the Spiritism, spreading the word, spreading the teachings. When we are talking to our friends and our family, we need to understand who our audience is. Are we speaking with children? In other words, are we speaking with children of God, like we all are? But are the people, is my audience prepared to hear what I need to say, or to see what I need to show? And if so, how am I going to do this in a way that is more feasible, that is more perhaps easy for them to understand, to cope, to process? And here's what Allan Kardec talks about it. One should inappropriately review everything. Every teaching must be proportional to the intelligence of those to whom it is directed. since there are persons whom a radiant light would blind without enlightening. What a good point. He brought to me the fact that we are not better or worse. We are all here together, learning, evolving, and we may understand, we may feel, we may have practiced some principles and have lived, and we want to share with our loved ones, with people that are listening to us today. But be prudent. You know, again, who is my audience and how am I going to communicate the light, the examples, the teachings? I thought that was very important. You know, it's less of your ego and what you think you know and how you think people should behave. And it's more about, am I doing my part? It's a good reflection, and it was a good reflection for me too, because like with children, I can say as much as I want, talk to my son and try to give them the best examples, but if what is his learn is what I do I walk the talk or I'm just talking? Because especially children, they're very attuned to the movements, they're observant. So that is an invitation for us to really understand our surrounding and the people that we are trying to share the teachings. Another piece here that's super important, it's about timing. Listen to this. Allan Kardec was saying that generations go through childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Each thing must come in its time, for the seed planted out of season will not grow. Bingo. Maturity, timing. Again, there is a time for everything. I know it's easy said than done, but every time we go through an experience and when we look back and you're like, wow, now you understand, I wasn't ready. It wasn't for me. Or this, what I perceived as a no, it was actually a yes, because it prevented something that could have harmed me or my family or whatever that might be. So we have some recipes here, some ingredients that are important. We talked about, be aware of your audience, timing, and maturity. We are all different. We have different paths in our lives, and we want to make sure we are prudent when we are sharing the information, when we are sharing the teachings of Jesus Christ, and through your actions and less, through your words. And to confirm what I just said from here, from this chapter, it does say, since God has given them intelligence in order to understand and to guide them in the things of heaven and earth, they want their faith to be rational. And it is at this point that the lamp should not be put under a bushel. For without the light of reason, faith grows weak. Let me repeat this point here. Without the light of reason, faith grows weak. We're not talking about blind faith. No one is invited to believe what I'm saying or what any of us is saying, but rather to investigate, to observe, to really be attent, to really be open to see what we are teaching here, what we are reading really works for you. And to me, that was a beautiful invitation because it's the light of reason. It's asking us to use our intelligence, to think, does it make sense, to investigate and not to believe it without doing the work, without being prudent about the information. We talked in the past lectures about the false prophets. And I think this comes into that point where the faith grows weak if there is no reason. So it's like the marriage of the science and spiritism, right? We are now in this era, in this new era, where we have access to information. We can do our own investigation and filter the information that we receive. So again, one more ingredient here: intelligence, prudence. Check who your audience is, and timing. To complement this, Kardec goes ahead and he says, The individual who do possess them hide them from the common folk in order to control them. These are the ones who truly put the light under the bushels. In other words, what about those people that keep the light, that keep the talent, the information hidden? Keep perhaps within their own group, their own religious group, right? Again, just examples here. What we see is that through the fact that they are hiding the light, they're hiding the information, they are keeping control of people. So that's why it's important to use our reason and our intelligence to question, to observe. And that's how the mass is controlled, for lack of information, or better than that, for lack of initiative sometimes to investigate, to really understand what is surrounding them, and most importantly, how does that work in the real life? And then he continues by saying, and Jesus is correct when he states that there is nothing secret that must not become known. There is no secret, there is no mystery. The information is out there, it's everywhere, it's in here, it's within us. The point is, are we even mature to perceive, to understand, to comprehend, truly comprehend with the eyes of the Spirit, the ears of the Spirit, and the understanding of an eternal Spirit, what the Master is, what the lessons are. And then eventually here he comes to a point where he says, Jesus did not express himself in parables, except regarding certain abstract parts of his doctrine. But having made charity and humility toward one's neighbors the express condition for salvation, everything he said in this regard is perfectly clear, explicit, and unambiguous. Oh, okay. I like what he's saying because, the parables, the metaphors, the stories that Jesus used to teach the disciples and the crowd, he wasn't specific about everything. It was about abstract concepts, things that they were not ready at that time to receive. And the best way it was through the best way to deliver the message was through the parables. And to be frankly, even as an adult, if I am learning something new, whether it's at my work or outside, something complex, having a context, having a story behind, it really helps me to understand the concept. So it takes time. Imagine for Jesus back in time, try to explain all this abstract, phenomenon with even words. I mean, it's just so intense. It's just so complex, and that's why they need the use of parables. But the message, remember, he says, the message, the express condition for salvation, right? Charity and humility. The message was very clear and unambiguous. This is exactly what Jesus wanted to share. And then there's something beautiful here that it says. Since they were more advanced morally and intellectually, Jesus could initiate them into more abstract truths. Thus he said, to those who already have, even more will be given. This is Jesus talking to disciples. In that first picture I showed you guys, Jesus had the disciples right there with him. And he says, for you, that you are already more advanced morally and intellectually, moral and intellect, two pieces together. Jesus could initiate them into more abstract truth. They were more prepared. The soil had been prepared, so Jesus could plant the seeds. He knew that. So that's why he said, to those who already have, even more will be given. So that made me reflect. To those who already have, even more will be given. Are we ready? And what does that mean to be ready? To serve as we can, as we are, right? Even more will be given. And I was wondering, is it even more work? Even more talents? I think it's both. I think as we give, we receive. As we expand, more talents will come. And therefore, more responsibilities we have to give, to serve. So it's like a full cycle. And I really enjoy this concept. And then to close the cycle here, look, listen to this. It says, Spiritism has come to shed light on a multitude of obscure points. However, it does not shed it indiscriminately. The spirits proceed in their teachings with admirable prudence. Key word here, prudence. Use the judgment, use your intelligence, use prudence when we are in our dealings with our loved brothers and sisters within our family. Because the spiritists allow each idea time to mature and spread before they present another, and for events to prepare its acceptance. Another important word, acceptance. So there's so much, isn't there? I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next. There we go. This is the beautiful passage I want to reflect upon. Spiritism has come to shed light on a multitude of obscure points with prudence. Each thing must arrive at the appropriate time to mature. There is a time and a place for the teachings and for us to be able to perform our role, our tasks here in our community, in our family. So in this various few pages here, which is under a lamp, under a bushel, why Jesus speaks in parables, we can subtract here important, as I say, ingredients, right? For a successful approach, a successful, what is the word I'm looking for? Successful and truthful association with others. Right? Who is your audience? Is it timing? Is it the right timing to share? Use your intelligence and discipline and here, prudence when sharing, when teaching. Always use the truth. Then remember, there is your truth, there is my truth, and there is the truth. Né? So be prudent. And then remember your responsibility to use your talents, your attributes, your gifts for the light. And then it says here, if I were to summarize this first portion here is, shine your light. Don't be afraid. Be prudent, but don't be afraid. All right, moving on. Okay. But the next portion, we think the same idea of sharing the light. It says, do not go to the Gentiles. Yeah? The Gentiles were those who were not Jewish back in Jesus' time. And Jesus says, do not go to the Gentiles. Go to the lost sheep. Preach and pray. Wait a minute. I was under the understanding that, Jesus wanted to share the light with everybody. And right now, it's saying, do not go to the Gentiles. Why is that? There's discrimination. Why? What was the strategy behind it? And listen to this. Kardec sharing with us. It says, in many circumstances, Jesus shows that his sights are not limited to the Jewish people, but that they encompass all humankind. Therefore, if he told his disciples not to go to the pagans, it was not that he disdained converting them, which would have been uncharitable, but because the Jews who believed in oneness of God and awaited for the Messiah had been prepared by the law of Moses and the prophets to receive his word. Among the pagans, where even the base was lacking, everything needed to be done. and the disciples were not yet sufficiently enlightened for such a weighty task. Therefore, Jesus said, "Go to the lost sheep of Israel." That is, go and sow on ground that has already been prepared, knowing that the conversion of the Gentiles will come in its own time. Again, timing comes again, and knowing that sometimes the soil is ready to receive. Sometimes there's more work to be done. Isn't it prudent to take a step back, to pause for a moment, and before we get so excited and try to tell people what to do and how to do things, take a step back. What is the situation? What is the status of that soil? Is the soil ready to receive, or is it time to nurture? To me, this is so important to remember, again, because it's less about your ego and your own opinion. It's more about to understand what people need. And sometimes they don't need anything. Sometimes the silence is the best at that moment. And sometimes a hug, a smile, and sometimes words. So be able to assess, take that pause, and to really understand. And remember, we're always guided using your intuition, right? To feel, it's a feeling universe, to feel what would be the best approach. And that's what Jesus was saying here when he said, do not go to the Gentiles, not discriminating, but it wasn't the right timing. And he continues, they first seek to make converts among persons of goodwill, those who desire the light, in whom a fertile seed may be found and whose numbers are great. Their time will come when they are persuaded by general opinion and when they hear the same thing constantly repeated around them. Then they will believe they have accepted the idea voluntarily and by themselves and not due to the pressure of someone else. Furthermore, the same things apply to ideas as apply to seeds. They cannot germinate before the right season and only in prepared soil. That's why it's better to wait for the correct moment to the first cultivate those that germinate, thus avoiding aborting the others by pushing them too hard. I love this analogy because we can put into practice these principles in our daily lives. Is it time? Is it a voluntary? Is it a moment where the person is ready to receive my advice or my opinion or my help? And sometimes it comes from a place of love, most of the time, I would say, all the time. But we interfere with other, people's experience and opportunity for growth. And to me, that was important to understand that, number one, when people are ready, when they say that when the student is ready, the teacher will manifest. And to me, I have to hold myself back because I get excited and I want to help people and give my opinion and offer solutions. That's my background training, problem solving. And sometimes that's not the best approach. So to me, this is a very important principle to be reminded. And then I'm going to move forward here because there's another beautiful principle that is so true and it's just so available to all of us. It says, today ideas are universalized and spiritualized. I love that. The new light is not a privilege of one nation. It shines everywhere and all humans are brothers and sisters. He couldn't close this idea of do not go to the Gentiles in a more beautiful way, because it says, again, the ideas are universalized and spiritualized. It's for everyone to see, to hear, right? The new light's not a privilege of any nation. There are no barriers to it. It shines everywhere, and all humans are brothers and sisters. Moreover, the Gentiles are no longer a people, but an opinion that is found everywhere and over which the truth triumphs little by little, just as Christianity triumphed over paganism. that are no longer combated with weapons of war, but with the power of an idea. It's the new world, it's the new era. The access to information that we have is unbelievable. There are no more barriers to the ability to evolve, right? Look at us today together, and now coming back, in person, to stay together, to remain together, to learn and to grow, and debating, by experiencing, by talking, by learning, by educating ourselves. And I love that education, and through education we change the world. And it's the same for our spiritual education, changing the world by starting with oneself, starting with us, educating us to be able to, by example, show our love and show our light to those around us in so much needed time in our planet. All right. So what else? I love this passage here, you guys, because it's something that I talked to my husband, Jason, who works at the hospital. And it was a reflection for myself too. The next teaching here says, the healthy do not need a doctor. Obvious. That's obvious. Is it? Let's see why it says here. While Jesus was at the table in the home of this man, Matthew, many publicans and sinners came to join Jesus and his disciples. Upon seeing this, the Pharisees said to the disciples, "Why does your master eat with sinners?" But upon overheard them, Jesus answered, "The healthy do not need a doctor, but the sick." Jesus addressed mainly the poor because they were the ones in the greatest need of consolation, and the blind of good faith and humility because they asked to see, they do not, the proud who believed they possessed the full light and were in need of nothing. So for me, what it brought again is the idea of, when I personally complain about my surroundings, the people that I'm working with, and we change jobs, we change scenarios, and we have all those challenges. And there were many times that I thought, God, can I just have a break? Can I just be in alignment or be in a place where people are like-minded? Life would be so much easier. And then the question is, no, you're here to do the work. Go do your work. Take the light to where it's needed, right? And that's what it's saying. The healthy do not need a doctor. The people that are in need, right? And that need a doctor, they're because they are sick. They are looking for they are in need of love and so many other things. And what is your role in this? It's so much easier to stay with the people that we share the same ideas and ideologies. But those who are the agents of transformations, they do come in our path, as you all know, to change us, to actually help us to evolve. So remember, the healthy do not need a doctor. And what is your role in your community, at your work, in your family, if not to bring the light, right? He continues by saying, let us first state that mediumship is connected to an organic disposition with which any person may be endowed, just as of seeing, hearing, and speaking. He's talking about here the gift of mediumship. And sometimes, when people comment, well, person X or person E have this mediumship so much more developed than mine. And it seems like that person has been, given a gift bigger or better than mine. But listen to this. This is very important what he's saying. He says, mediumship is given without distinction so that spirits may bring the light to all ranks, all classes of society, to the rich and to the poor and to the corrupt, in order to correct them. So isn't it a great point for us to reflect as we are all here together in different levels of evolution and mediumship, knowing that we all are mediums, and some have a mediumship that are more evolved, more in sync, because they're doing their work too. And remember, it's all about timing and maturity, spiritual maturity, so we can do our work with prudence. A beautiful reflection. And then, to close the cycle, he says, good mediums are not those who communicate easily, but those who are attuned to good spirits and who are helped only by them. It's solely in this sense that the excellence of their moral qualities has complete power of mediumship. Another beautiful point: know thyself, moral qualities, inner transformation. Aren't these all what we've been looking for and working on for the longest time? This is all the preparation. This is all, again, when the student is ready, the master will manifest. And I love this invitation for us to put things into perspective and our role as far as sharing our light with our community, with our friends, with our circle, with our family, and with those who are listening to us today. And then, lastly, at the very end here, there is another teaching. Bear your cross. Whoever wants to save his life will lose it. What good would it do a man to gain the whole world but lose himself? Good question. Where does it coming from? It says, you are greatly blessed when men hate you, avoid you, treat you injuriously, and your name as evil on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice on the day and exult with joy, because a great reward is reserved for you in heaven, for thus their fathers treated the prophets. Calling the people unto him with his disciples, he said to them, if anyone wants to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For he who wants to save himself will be lost, and he who loses himself out of love for me and the gospel will be saved. In truth, what good will do a man to gain the whole world but losing himself? I love this invitation for reflection, going back into the principle of know thyself. Yeah? Let those who want to follow me take up their cross, to take with them their opportunities for learning, the problems, the sadness, the injuries, the diseases, and all the challenges, and follow me with your heart. Are you with me? That's Jesus asking us. Are you with me? Are you ready? And then he says, they should courageously bear the tribulations that their faith will endanger, because those who want to save their life and their possessions by denying me will lose the advantage of the kingdom of heaven. Are we with God teachings and Jesus teachings? Are we in alignment with the teachings of Allan Kardec and the spirits? Are we denying, and perhaps only whenever is convenient for us to use the words of the spirits and Allan Kardec and the teachings of Jesus? It's a good reflection. And it says here, those who sacrifice heavenly possessions to earthly pleasures, God says, you have already received your recompense. In other words, what a good opportunity, what a good timing for us as Thanksgiving is approaching, and it's such a beautiful time where we take that moment, especially in that time, to be thankful and to be grateful. And what are you grateful for? For the talents, for the attributes, the gifts that you have received. And most importantly, how are you using them for the benefit of others, for the good, for the whole good? I leave you guys with this question to digest, to observe in our daily lives, and how talent we all are in different ways, in different matters and forms and shapes. And are we using our talents that were given to us with the responsibility to share with others? Okay, so remember, know thyself and let your light shine. And before I conclude, I would like to invite you, just bear here with me. I have a song I would like to play. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable. You can listen to and watch the video. Just 1 second here, because it talks about the light, the little light of mine. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I hope you enjoy it, this beautiful song, just to conclude our thought for today, my friends.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Let it shine, my friends. We all have so beautiful light inside. Let it use it. There's a purpose. So let it shine. Thank you so much.
Wow, sister, I'm speechless. It was really beautiful. You know, two things that I wanted to point out when you were speaking to us about Jesus is speaking in parables. Charity and humility were not ambiguous, and how important it is, and how important this reinforce also the message that we received from St. Francis of Assisi: preach the gospel all the time and use words when necessary. Because Also, when you were talking about the healthy do not need a doctor, one of the things that it was said is that the sick are the ones with the most need of consolation. So it's not saying are the ones who most need preaching and knowledge and understanding, because to your point, they're not ready. So our duty is really to console and by our examples, be that light to them. So this is what is reinforcing me in my mind. Thank you so much for bringing this perspective on this chapter, in this beautiful chapter. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much, Dri. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. And I always love when our hearts get touched, and you really accomplished that through your talk and the final video. And I wanted to just tactile on what you said, Kiki. The sick, right? The sick is everyone who is open, because ultimately we're all sick, right? But some of us don't recognize it and think we're not. But then those who are open to the teachings, right? They're the ones, the so-called sick that Jesus referred to, right? And I think it's a good reminder that you brought, Adriana, because it's hard to try to force anything and then barking up the wrong tree, but to be really sensitive and to see who is open, right? So thank you so much. Loved it.
Yeah, I thought that was great too, Adriana. That really touched me, kind of what they're talking about, helping the sick, and just, you mentioned something about, we always want to be comfortable when we're hanging out with our people, but yet, the ones that are sick are the ones that need the help. And just like, what would Jesus do? He would go out there and help them, and just, be with the sick, and if they're open, be ready to help with the helping hand. So anyways, that was really good. Thank you.
You're in a beautiful place. I like your background there.
Oh yeah, no, it's beautiful. Very blessed out here. So yeah, love it.
I grew up with that song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine." And it's so funny because even when I was a kid, I would reflect on the light. I'm gonna let it shine, and then we would try to out-sing each other and be louder than the other one. And then how it gets programmed in your head, this little light. Another other day I was singing it to this little boy that I watched. And but I had no background of what it really meant, not until Spiritism. And that's what I find really awesome about that song, like Dr. Paula was saying, when you train a child, it gets programmed in their cells, and that song definitely brought back so many memories. And you don't know, and so, and then the other thing that you mentioned was about, because we often would like to share what we have, what we know, to help somebody, especially in our family or a friend, and the important thing Kardec mentioned is the maturity. Can they hear? And are you the one really to give it to them? Do they want to hear it from you? And then your presentation to them. I mean, it goes on and on. I think Jesus was brilliant with these parables, even though I couldn't understand none of them.
We're still learning, aren't we?
I'm still learning.
We're all children of God, that aspect.
Yeah, it is really interesting that how much we lose throughout the years, throughout the generations that keeps going by. When we look at the meaning of the word light in Hebrew, it means the divine, and that correlates to the talent. So to hide the light is exactly not to display that divine in us, or that talent. And when we are referring to seek illumination or to be illuminated, it has to do with connect with that divine, to be even closer to that purity of the light. And Adriana, you brought up the question of education, right? So education, the sense of the word education also in its origin is to nurture and to make that light grow. That's what education means, or to educate, is to nurture that talent and bring the light out. So thank you. It was a very inspiring presentation. I love when we get children singing, and that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that, the divine. Yes, that was the cherry on the top of our ice cream here.
And it's so amazing the way that for more we studying the gospel for many years, we still have some chemistry. Now it have some word, have some teaching that we have not seen or pay attention to that word, to that moral over there. And so you brought so many today to me, to myself. And I have challenged with my mother, and for the last 2 weeks have been very, very hard. I don't know if to manifest the love that I have and gratitude. And about you brought that, the soil. We have to respect the people's soil. Our soil is ready. We are working on it. We are attentive to the bad seeds, but how much we are attentive to respect the soils of others. And that is the lesson Jesus said, to not to go to the Gentiles, no, because they were not ready yet. And Jesus respect them. Like, don't lose time, no? Don't give pearls to the pigs because the soil is not ready yet. No, so let's we prepare our soil. Let we plant the good seeds and let it grow and be the example, not to impose, not to be hurt, because if they still in the way to hurt us, is because they are the most in need, no? Like Sunshine said, we still sick. All of us are sick over here, but some is more than others. And when you said that he came to the sick, how many times a year we go to a doctor? And then as often as you go is more as you need of inner transformation, of analyzing yourselves, see how, because we know the sick, what causing the illness is the anger, the hatredness, the rancor, not acceptance. It is not allowing our light to shine. It is a beautiful message. I appreciate. Thanks so very much. Thank you.
Does anyone have any more comments or questions to Adriana? No? All right. So, Dri, thank you once more. God bless you, dear sister. We will take 2 minutes break, and then we will do our second part with the hands-on healing. Please don't forget your bottle of water. And if there is anyone that you wish to bring for vibration, please let us know.